Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of You Have Got to Be Knitting Me. I think today is episode 9 of my knitting podcast, almost 10, that's pretty exciting. At one point in the day I was home alone, and now that I've set up my camera and set up my projects, many members of my family have come home, so I'm hoping that noise is not an issue. On top of that, I do live really close to an Air Force base, and there has been a Navy jet circling over the Air Force base, so hopefully that's okay too. That's scaring me a little bit, but hopefully no political news is broken or world news is broken on You Have Got to Be Knitting Me. I don't think I can take that kind of pressure, so hopefully there's no jets or family members stomping upstairs. So welcome to my knitting podcast. I have kind of not that much to show because I just got back from a trip to DC, a very long trip to DC. I was there for 2.5 weeks watching my friend's cats, which was really great. It was a nice staycation. But I did not get that much knitting done, which I guess is good because I was really busy, but I've been kind of having the same projects for weeks and weeks and weeks. So if you were like, oh my god, it's been so long since Nora's posted her last podcast, I'm probably missing out on so much. I only have a sweater and socks to show you, so. But they're exciting sweater and socks, so let's get started. Alright, briefly I will mention my finished object from last time. I was working on one pair of socks, simply squared socks, this simply ribbed socks with square heel, which I have now finished, but that's not much. There is not much of an update there. I just finished the socks, so yeah, if you're hanging on to that thread, the socks are done, but I don't really have much to show for them. But I love that pattern, and I'm definitely gonna knit another one. But I'm just gonna move on to works in progress. The first thing I have is my Olga sweater. Let me wind this up a little bit. My Olga sweater, which I have talked about a little bit because the yarn I have been working with for a little bit because it is frogged from another sweater. So if you have been following along for a few episodes, I had a Moonflower pullover by Sorry N, which I loved, but I have a lot of cable sweaters and I just wasn't wearing that one. So I frogged it for this Green Tea Heather Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. That's what the whole sweater is knit in. So I frogged that, blocked it, and wound it into cakes, and I have been using it for the main color of this sweater. If you're familiar with the pattern, it is written for DK yarn, but I'm using worsted weight just because I have a lot of it and I'm trying to get through some scraps. I already have plans to knit the cardigan version of this. I really like this pattern and it's really fun to come up with stripe ideas, so I have another worsted weight Olga cardigan in my future. But what I want to say about this is the size medium. I'm knitting, even though I'm doing a different gauge of yarn, I've been knitting in the same size needle as the pattern suggests, and I didn't do a gauge swatch, and I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. When I was picking colors, usually when I do scrap projects, I really try not to focus on the order of the colors because I'll get obsessed with it. So I was just kind of like picking from the bag, and I really did not like this stretch. I just thought it was like too many cutesy colors in a row, and so that's why I added the brown to kind of break that up. But I was just like trying to do it random, and then I'd be like, oh, pink after purple, and then I'd be like, orange, are you kidding me, Nora? You were trying to make this? So I was like a little bit not happy here, but then I was like, I'm just gonna keep knitting, and then especially as I added the sleeves, I really like the way it looks, and there's no part of the sweater that my eyes focus to. I was worried that they were just gonna focus to the orange, pink, purple area, but yeah, so I have all of these colors. The sleeves match up with the body of the sweater, but then the sleeves are a little bit longer, so I have some additional colors down here. And I am filming a vlog from frogging the Moonflower pullover to finishing the sweater. I've been filming updates vlog style for this, and it's the first time I've made a video like that, but it's been pretty fun to film and I'm excited to edit it. So when I finish the sweater, that video should be coming out pretty quickly, so stay tuned for that. Is there anything else I want to say about this? It's a really simple pattern. I recommend it, and I just noticed a lot of people like knit this several times, knit it with different, like how I'm doing, like alternating, the contrast colors alternating, or some people just use this as a plain sweater recipe and don't do stripes or do their own colors. So Petite knit, I always recommend very simple patterns, and this is very simple. And I did do the Italian bind off, and I filmed a time lapse and it came out really cool. It actually came out way cooler than I expected because the sun was going down. So if you want to see that, you should watch the vlog. But the Italian bind off went well. The hem is flipping up a little bit, but I think it's gonna block out because that usually happens with her patterns and it blocks out. So yeah, here is my Olga sweater. I'm going to the beach tomorrow, so hopefully I will finish. I think I can knit a whole sleeve tomorrow. I have one more work in progress. They are the, oh my gosh, the pattern name is so hard for me to remember. I like film Whip Wednesdays and post them on TikTok. Please, you should follow me on TikTok. I've been putting a lot of effort into the TikToks I make, so you should follow me. But I've been posting Whip Wednesdays, and because I've been knitting at a lot more slow pace than I usually do, I've been having the same projects in every Whip Wednesday, and I can never remember what this sock is called because it's part of a kit, so, or part of a set. So this is the Dream House sock set, the Country Cottage socks, and I always want to put the word cozy in there. That's why I think I'm getting confused. But I'll show you the finished one first. So these are by Stoneknits, one of my favorite sock designers. She may be watching. If you're watching, hi Charlotte. I'm a big fan, of course. But these are her sock pattern, Country Cottage socks, which I want to say cozy cottage socks, Country Cottage socks. And I'm knitting these, if they look familiar, I knit a sweater that I designed myself that kind of looked like this. There were like rolling fields and then a yellow house with an orange roof and pink clouds. So when she came out with this pattern, I was like, I'm going to knit that with the yellow houses and orange roofs and pink clouds to match my sweater. So my sweater also has an alien and cows and mushrooms and fish. So maybe I'll have to add those in with duplicate stitch. I hate duplicate stitch. You have to go in and add duplicate stitch for the doors, which I've done on 2 of them. Haven't done on these 3, but I will add those in. I'll show you what the insides look like. I've done a lot of colorwork socks, so I think I've got the hang of it for the most part. Especially her patterns, like the sizings are like the same. So if you found how you get your size, what stitches and needle size is good for you, you can like transfer that from project to project to project with her patterns. So yeah, and I like how the foot of the sock is all one color. So I meant to knit this. I went to go see Materialist with my friends, but I had driven down to DC and that was the day of my long car ride. So I was really tired and I didn't knit very much in the movie theater, but I'm going to, when I get to the foot of this sock, I'm going to go see Megan 2. I'm very excited. And I only saw Megan 1 like by myself on my laptop, and I've always heard that it is a very good movie theater movie, so I'm excited to see theater. I'm excited to see Megan 2 in the theater and hopefully knit my sock. But the yarn for this, this is Jawoll, Jawoll, in the color Lavender. This is the color Pear. This is Magpie fiber, say Chic, whatever their sock yarn. I think it's called Swanky sock. I got this at Brooklyn General, and I have scraps from a different socks. Okay, what did I say? Lavender, Pear, say Chic. Oh, and both of these are Cascade, Heritage. The yellow is Lemon, and the orange is Blood Orange. So yeah, everything was scraps except for the foot. I had to buy the green, so. And I'm knitting them to match my sweater. I'll put a picture of the sweater so you'll see, but I just did this last night, the cuff, so I am hoping to get actually both of these off the needles now that I got back from DC on Sunday, and I'm excited to knit through my work in progresses because I have a lot of exciting things planned. So I'm excited to get these off the needles, and I'm also really excited to wear them, especially that sweater. I think is going to be a good throw over kind of sweatshirt sweater. So I want that to be done by the summer, which it will be done in the next 48 hours. Okay, to end this video, I'm just going to do a little chat and update and talk about TV and movies and books and things that you talk about at the end of knitting podcasts. So yeah, just to fill you in on my DC trip, I had a lot of fun. I'll put some pictures and videos of the cats because they're really cute, and I was there taking care of my friend Ben's cats, but I have a lot of friends who live in DC, so it was very fun to just be with my friends. And it was like 100 degrees every single day, and then in the evenings it was like thunder and lightning like every single day, so I really was hot a lot of the time. That was probably another reason why I wasn't knitting as much, because it was uncomfortable. But yeah, so the trip to DC was great. Some highlights: I went to a Reformation sample sale with my friend Isabel on a 100-degree day. It was crazy. It was like a big warehouse. I've never owned anything from Reformation. I actually didn't really know about them until Casey Musgraves had she had a line come out with them, I think last year, and I love Casey Musgraves, so I thought that was cool, but not anything I could really afford or have an occasion to wear. But a lot of the stuff they had were like wedding guest dresses, so, and they were really discounted. So if you had a lot of weddings to go to this summer, you probably saved a lot of money and got very beautiful dresses. But it was really hot. There were no changing rooms, so I wormed, if you've learned that term. It's when you wear like form-fitting clothes, so you can just put, when you go thrifting, you can just put your clothes over it, because I don't think Savers has, at least my Savers has not opened changing rooms since COVID, so which is really annoying. But yeah, there's no changing rooms, and there's just like a lot of sweaty girls just like ripping off clothes and piles of clothes everywhere. And it was a fun experience. I'm glad I did it. I'm really glad I was in the first wave. I don't think I could, we were the first 100 people to get there, and I don't know if I could have waited. I don't know if I could have waited, because it was really hot and uncomfortable, and I was glad we were in and out. But I did get a beautiful yellow dress that is pretty short, but it's okay. It's really cute, and it was a fun souvenir from a really interesting experience. So that was the Reformation sale. I also, knitting. I can give a knitting update. I went to Fiber Space in Alexandria, which is a very beautiful yarn store. My mom came down to DC for a few days, and again, it was 100 degrees, and we were walking through Alexandria, and it was like, we weren't having fun, but we did get ice cream at the end of it and yarn at the beginning of it, so it wasn't a total waste. I got this yarn. The brand is the Periwinkle Sheep, and the colorway is Hyacinth, which reminds me of that British show called Hyacinth. But I went in looking for sock yarn, and I was a little disappointed by the selection. I've been to Fiber Space a few times and have not bought something, because again, I always say this when I talk about in-person yarn shopping, but I just like really struggle if I don't go in with a project in mind. So the last couple of times I've gone to Fiber Space, I haven't had a project in mind, so I left with empty-handed. And then I went in with projects in mind, which were 2 different pairs of socks, and I don't know if I just caught them on like a low stock day, but they just did not have very many sock yarn options. They had a lot of fingering weight yarn that didn't have nylon in it, which personally to me, I don't understand why you would have fingering weight yarn that doesn't have nylon in it. I just think there always should be the option to make socks, but yeah, so I ended up only buying 1 skein of yarn, but there is a cable socks that I am going to edit a little bit, but a pair of cable socks that I am looking forward to making with these. I will probably cash these on when I finish my other projects, but this is my yarn from Fiber Space. I also got a sticker, which conveniently my iPad is right here. So this is the sticker I got. So cute. And they have these little sheep out front, and I like how it has like the street sign on it, and it says Alexandria. And also, this is my tattoo artist that did my pig tattoos, Harry Mackenzie. If you're ever in Brighton, there is actually a lot of great tattoo artists in Brighton, England, so you have your pick, but Harry is a nice guy. I've been having a lot of like really strange comments on my video. I don't get very many comments, but a lot of the comments I have been getting have been like extremely small world things. Like when I talked about the yarn from Tasmania, and then someone commented like, that's my local yarn store. Somebody's gonna comment and be like, Harry Mackenzie is my brother or something. Anyway, yeah, let's see what's on the list. Fiber Space, check. Reformation Sale, check. Cats, I'll put videos and pictures of them because they're so cute. And also another plug for my TikTok. A lot of the TikToks I posted in the last couple of weeks have the cats in it. Oh, it was really hot. And finally, oh, a non-knitting craft. My friends have been really into like pottery painting, like Color Me Minds. I think that's a chain. This one was called All Fired Up, but like the pottery is already made and then you go in and paint, not pottery studios where you're making things from clay. They've been really into it, and they've made like plates and dishes and bowls, and one of my friends had a bowl that she was finishing, so she invited anyone else who wanted to come. And I thought this was pretty good. Like the price depended on what you got. So if you got like a big vase, maybe it was more expensive, or you got a plate or something. Like, but this was $26 for the item and the 2 hours that we were there painting. So I thought that was, I was expecting to spend more on this activity, and I was surprised by how reasonable it was. So what I made was this little catch-all dish. It's going to be making annoying noises, and it kind of looks like a Christmas peppermint candy, but it's supposed to be a circus tent. And then on the inside is this little clown. I think it came out so well. I just keep it on my bedside table with, it's gonna keep my rings and a few stitch markers and chapstick. And originally I wanted to make a butter dish with the same idea and have the clown be on like the butter plate and then the tent be this thing. But they didn't have a butter dish. So maybe next time, and apparently my friends have gone often enough that they change things out. So maybe one day I'll be able to make a butter dish. But yeah, this was really fun. A really fun thing to do. So cute. And then finally I'll just talk about some media. I have been, well, first of all, music-wise, while I was in DC, the Haim album came out, and I've been a pretty big Haim fan. Not forever. I know they've had a pretty long music career. I know their first album just turned 10, so that's very impressive. I have been a fan of them kind of since, I guess, like, I've always known who they were, but like since Taylor had them on Evermore, and they just kind of were in Taylor's inner circle, and at the Eras tour, and then I just started listening to especially Women in Music Part 3. I love that album, like no skips, such a good album. And then I went back and listened to their other two albums, and I'm a huge fan of these ladies. They have incredible stage performance, really talented, and so their fourth album just came out, I Quit. Love it. The single Relationships was so fun. Actually, I'll pull up the album because I like talking about music. So we'll go, I want to kind of look at the track list, and I have my iPad conveniently next to me. Yeah, so, oh, and when I was in DC, my friends and I got tickets to see them at the Merriweather Pavilion in Maryland, which I also went there last year to All Things Go, which was really fun, a music festival in Maryland. And I saw Muna for the first time, and they're my favorite band now, so that was like a great day. And then I saw Hosier and Renee Rapp and Holly Humblestone. Yeah, it was a great day. So I'm excited to go back to the venue and see these sisters. My Spotify wasn't downloaded and I was stalling talking about All Things Go. Okay, the last thing I listened to on my iPad was the iconic 400 People part 3 from Las Culturistas. That's funny. Okay, I Quit. Yeah, Relationships, so good. The single that came out so long ago. Take Me Back, I love as well. Love You Right is, I think, my favorite from the, like, non-singles. I like that one a lot. The Farm, I really like, especially I'm interpreting it. I know that one of them was in a long-term relationship that also he was involved in their music, so I'm kind of interpreting The Farm as being part of that. And yeah, I also like that the album's like almost an hour long. also like these tiny little pop albums are fun, but sitting down with a long album is nice. Yeah, so I recommend Heim. And for books, I have been reading It by Stephen King. Storygraph is reminding me that this is my third time reading it, which I feel a little bit embarrassed about because it is a very long book. But it's just, I enjoy reading Stephen King. I enjoy reading long books. And this was trying to get me out of my reading slump, which I think I have been successful. I have been reading it along with the Losers Club podcast, which is Stephen King podcast. I highly recommend if you like Stephen King. It's really fun, and they make there's a podcast for every section of the book. So I just finished. Also, I really like collecting used books. This is first edition. Especially I like to collect first edition Stephen King books. First edition Viking with him playing the guitar in the back, but I just think it's cute, like somebody else's inscription in this. To Pat, Merry Christmas. Whatever it is, I hope it never gets you. Love, Tony. And I don't know who Pat and Tony are, but I just think that's so sweet, and I don't think I could ever get rid of this book because of Pat and Tony. Anyway, also my friend Stephanie got me this stamp, which is really cute. But I just finished part 1, part 2, part 3. So I'm on page 650. But the Losers Club does an episode for every part of the book. So if you like Stephen King, but you maybe are intimidated by the length of his books, again, The Stand is my favorite Stephen King book, and it's also very long. I find it motivating to read along with the podcast because you're like, in 100 pages, I'll have another episode, or in 50 pages, I'll have another episode. So, like, I read all of part 3 pretty quickly because I was excited for the next episode. One last thing to say about this being first edition is that Pennywise is not a clown. And there's no clown imagery on the cover at all. I just think it's interesting. If you know about Pennywise and Stephen King and marketing, I just think that's interesting. And finally, my last update is about TV. I subscribed to Paramount Plus for 1 month, potentially 2 months, because I wanted to watch All Stars 10, which I haven't started yet, Drag Race, and probably rewatch All Stars 7 because that's my favorite season of Drag Race, and Raja is my favorite drag queen, and I would like to watch it since the Vivian has passed. And also, my friends and I are hoping to buy tickets to see Jinx in Oh Mary, so I would love to kind of watch All Stars 7. Is just a great season of drag. All winners, obviously, there's some quality there. But I've also been watching Couples Therapy, and it's really good. And I love Orna, and I love her style, and I want to just braid my hair and have my braids wrapped around my head, because she always has like milk, not always, but she, like, when she wears her hair in milkmaid braids, I really love. Yeah, I love Couples Therapy. It's so entertaining, and the episodes are only half an hour, so you can, like, there was one day in DC where it was like 102 degrees, and the only thing I could do was sit inside and watch Couples Therapy, and it was a great day. So if you haven't watched that show, on Las Culturistas, Bowen talks about it a lot, and he definitely inspired me to watch this show. I love Couples Therapy. It's so good. So if you have any Paramount Plus recommendations that I can squeeze into the next month or two, let me know. I was also gonna watch, there's one more thing that I definitely wanted to watch that I think I saved, but if you have any recommendations, please let me know. I saw The Materialist. I mentioned that during the sock portion. I was really tired while we watched it because I had just gotten done with my long drive, but I thought it was not a good movie, but there were some jokes that were funny enough that I am glad I saw it. So if you're on the fence of seeing The Materialist, I thought it was kind of entertaining. So yeah, Pedro Pascal. Yeah. So those are all my updates. I'll be back hopefully with a lot of knitting because I have a lot planned. I know I'm going to have my Althea top and those socks that I just bought the yarn for on the needles pretty quickly. So I'm going to get knitting, and I'll talk to you guys soon. And stay tuned for the Olga vlog. I'm really excited about that. So I hope you like it. Okay, bye!